Amidst, menopause and more.
I'm
Who are
Leanne
you?
Morgan. I think I'm in my own home.
Yes, we are.
I'm
We are.
disoriented.
Yes, we all three of us, Forrest, Leanne, and I, are in our separate homes via Zoom doing our podcasts. I'm Karen Nickell, nurse practitioner, and we're here to just chit chat about things that are happening in our lives. So, like trying to schedule hair appointments now that they're opening up in Knoxville in a week.
And they're taking several precautions, which
Mm-hmm.
are good. Only
What
so
they?
many people in at a time.
Yeah.
You have to wait in your car, text them, let them know. They'll let you know when you can come in.
Yeah. You have to wear. Do you have to wear a mask?
Wear a mask. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to hand you gloves. They said don't bring your own gloves in. We'll hand you gloves.
That's smart.
And they're not blowing out. They're not blowing out hair.
Oh yeah. Well, because they'll blow germs everywhere in the room.
Yeah, and I needed a full with a highlight, and they have to blow mine out in between, so I can't get that this time. I'm just going to get a full, which, praise God, I don't care. I don't care what they do. They can do anything they want to. Maybe they should shave it.
Well, wait a minute. There's a new concept. Well, what about can you bring your own blow dryer and go blow your dry your hair in the car?
Oh.
Don't
well,
you have
do you
have a outlet in your car? I have an outlet. But there are converters for a little lighter, to put in your cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
That gives you a plug.
Well, I'll ask them.
And
if not, I'll just hopefully in 4 weeks when I go back. What do you think? Because in state of Tennessee, they've implemented
Mm-hmm.
So tired.
I'm sorry.
And that's okay. I've been taking care of my little mama. 3-phase plan to open back up. And the first phase, and you might want to explain that because I know California's got a 4-phase.
Mm-hmm.
But they're wanting the phases to go about 28 days to see what the numbers are before they go to phase 2 and then on to phase 3.
Right. So the blow drying may be out of the picture for a little bit. So you may want to figure out how to rig up your blow dryer in your car.
Yeah, but how do you feel about the phases? You feel good about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the appropriate thing to do. And then if a hot spot flares up,
they can pull back.
Mm-hmm. They can pull back, especially in that area. Again, the more testing we have, I've said this from the beginning. I said this, late February or whatever that episode was. But the more testing we can have, the more we can know what's happening, So, so the idea is to get it tamped down enough that rather than digging ditches for the blazing fire that's tearing through, it's tamped down enough that if a little fire pops up, they can take care of it. Little fire pops up, they can take care of it. So no, I think because people need a way to make a living, so we've got to figure out how to do that as safely as possible.
Yeah.
And if people don't feel comfortable going out and getting their hair done or whatever, they can stay home.
They don't have to.
No, that's right.
Yeah. That's right. I've got a lot of friends who hunker down all the time. They don't go anywhere anyway.
Yeah. Well,
they live in a cabin out in the woods and they don't go anywhere and they're pretty tickled. Me, I'm about to go nuts, but I'm a homebody too, but I'm ready to ready to get out and do a little bit, but I'm not going to do anything crazy. I've got to still take care of my elderly parents. And so, and my little daddy is at risk more than even my little mama with all she's been through. Their doctor told me, because he's had lung cancer and has half of a lung or lobe was removed.
Right.
That he's, and he's going crazy. He needs to get out and do, and he loves a Lowe's. But there's no way he could go to a Lowe's, at this point because everybody's at Lowe's.
Yeah, they are. I know they've implemented, one-way aisles and distancing when you're in the checkout line, but still, if you're at that much risk, it's not worth getting the can of paint,
Yeah. I think when I go back this weekend, I'll take them to the Mennonites. They're a sect of the Amish that are near my people. Yeah. And they have all these wonderful bakeries and little grocery stores. And there's a family that's got a bunch of little kids that are in homemade clothes and they're out playing in a pond and dirty and they're so cute. And they grow tomatoes. And so my parents get boxes of tomatoes. And my mom used to can, to can tomatoes. But my son does now.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
Because he's from heaven.
Yes.
And so we'll go and get a bunch of boxes and he can make tomato juice and all that out of it. But I'll take my dad because that's something there won't be anybody there. It won't be hardly anybody there. He can wear a mask. We get to talk to the sweet Mennonite people, get to see a buggy, a horse, Yeah. They're a good time. They really are. So, in the bakeries in somebody's house. And nice. Yeah. Mr. Schluckermuck or something, German. And he's sweet, but blank. But we'll get to go in there, do something like that.
Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah. Well, he can always also give you a list of what he needs at Lowe's and you can go get it in all your spare time.
Yeah, I can get Chuck to do that. Chuck loves Lowe's. But I feel this is on my heart and I need to say it. I had a good friend who just lost her mother last week and she had been in the hospital. She was 81, I think, had been in the hospital, was doing well. They put her in hospital rehabilitation, started kidney dialysis. And they thought she was going to get to come home this past weekend. And she just passed away. And so my friend didn't get to see her, but they were FaceTiming every day, but she didn't get to see her little mama and she was planning on going to Alabama to see her. And so I just posted a video of my little mama with her speech therapist, who is so darling. His name is Mark, and he sings old timey hymns with her. And it helps her with her rhythm and you can understand every word she's saying. So I put that video up and I can't even tell you how many thousands of comments of people that are taking care of elderly parents or just lost their parents, but they're our age, they're going through menopause. And that's why I bring this up. At the same time, you're launching your adult children, which can be stressful and exciting for everybody, but stressful. Yes. And then you're taking care of elderly parents. Yeah. And you're, young enough to, I'm 54 and Chuck's in the other room. And I'll just say, I know that we should be hanging from the chandeliers and doing nasty stuff, Chuck, but I'm tired and I'm worried. He said, I don't care about that anymore. Just get this house straightened up. Yeah, I'm not an organized person. Okay, Chuck, that's enough, honey. Nobody can hear you.
I want to hear him.
Well, Karen Nickell said she wanted to hear you, but I'm not going to allow it. Okay, so, but it's a time in your life where, I still feel good, could go do. I know we're in the COVID, but it is a stressful time for people. But I really see this as God's gift to me because, I was on tour every week of the world gone. And I wasn't able to see my mom for about 3 months and my sister was carrying the burden and taking care of them. And so now that the COVID and I'm not touring right now and hopefully that will come back soon. I have this time, I feel like it's a gift where I can love on her and I can't sing. And I'm sitting here talking to Karen Nickell, who is a professional opera singer, but we do sing Love Lifted Me and It Is Well With My Soul and all of that. And I can cook for them and, wash clothes and change beds and have that time with her. So, people were very sweet. Let me say, people were very, very precious about all the comments they made about that. But you can tell that that's something that we go through at this time in our life while you're in menopause, and that's enough to kill you.
Yeah.
And then you got all this other. It's just a trying time.
Yeah, there are a lot of big time life transitions that happen for people in our age group. You mentioned the biggies, the children going off, launching as adults and moving out of the house, and elderly parents starting to have pretty significant health problems. And it's a lot to balance.
Yeah.
It's a lot to balance. And, that's why, when I talk to my patients who are going through those things, I talk to them about support systems, ways to build a team around the care of your parents, for instance, because it's just too much for one person to do. It's just too much, and especially from a distance.
I talked to, and I'm 3-4 hours away from mine, but we talked about that in the office one day. Can you tell people about resources they can, how they find people?
Yeah, one thing and it depends on what stage of health your parents have, but if your parents are elderly and really dealing with some end of life issues, but they're not, and they're not so far advanced that they need something like hospice. We have companies that provide what we call palliative care. So it's a team of physicians, nurse practitioners, social workers, nurses who help provide whatever care you need. If your parent needs a bath, or any kind of medical supplies like a hospital bed or a shower bar or something, those kinds of things, they can help get those things in place. And you have someone to contact if you run into a snag or you need some help, or that your parent has developed diarrhea all of a sudden. I mean, something, because they have standing orders for all different kinds of illnesses and scenarios. So if you have a problem, if your parent is having a problem, or any elderly person, family member, or whoever you're caring for, you can contact them and they will provide the help you need. They'll call in a medicine or send a nurse over with a medicine, or, so it helps keep your elderly loved one out of the ER a lot of times, which it's some place you don't particularly want to go right now, especially. So it can be a really excellent support team. And so all you would have to do in your area is really to look up palliative care. That's PALLIA, TIVE. Boy, we couldn't do a spelling contest right now, but PALLIATIVE. So palliative care, it might be the right thing for you. It's worth looking into to see if it is the right thing for you.
We have Lifeline that help them order a hospital bed. They send nurses. They sent this precious speech therapist, Mark, who sings old-timey hymns. She's got also her provider, who is Dr. Williams, and she has a concierge practice where she only sees 400 people.
Yeah, nice.
And it's a lot of elderly, and she would go and see Mama in the nursing home rehab.
That's nice.
Yeah, Dr. Williams' Mama goes, I love her, and she loves my Mama, and so and they've always had. I mean, I think socially before Mama got so sick that they were always at different things in Adams where my parents live. That was like, so and so's having a fish fry, and then everybody brings a dish. And Dr. Williams would come, and so Mama's always loved her, and so that's been wonderful to have somebody that is, that's your healthcare provider, but they know you, and she knows where Mama was before all this happened.
Right, and they're your care coordinator too. They know how to tie it together. So
yeah, but we're hoping her physical therapist comes every 2 weeks. They had to well, he didn't come for 3 weeks because of COVID. We were just like, nobody needs to come in the house. But now he's starting to come back, and he gives us exercises with her, and I do them because my dad can't do them by himself with her. Can't walk, help. She has to have 2 people there to walk.
Yeah.
But we're hoping that when all this calms down, that she can go to a physical therapy place so many days a week, because that, she could just make so much more progress.
Yeah.
But
well, it sounds like she's in good hands, including yours. So
well, thank you. And she's a doll. Everything is, I'm okay. She'll get choked and we'll go, Mama. She'll go, I'm okay. She's always been the most positive, happy person, and makes a joke out of everything. That's where, I became a comedian, because everything was a fun story, dazzling. If she went to a Tupperware party, she dazzled. Let me tell you, everybody's like, Lucille. I mean, she killed everywhere she went.
That's funny.
I know. And she's got a lot of young girls that love her, that she went to church with, and they bring food all the time, and they brought her birthday gifts and cards, and we put her in the door, and they waved at her from the driveway. But yeah, 30-year-old girls want to be her best friend. I mean, she's pretty fun. Yeah. So
that's neat.
She's been a fun mama. So
that's neat.
We have a good time.
Well, that's good.
I just wondered if there's any questions that anybody asked on Facebook that you feel like is.
Well, one thing I was going to maybe let listeners know about is, we're all trying to figure out masks to wear, and, what is the most safe, and what doesn't fog up your glasses, and this kind of thing. So, it so happens there are a couple things you can use to improve the safety of your mask. But then I was reading our little Knoxville News Sentinel this morning, which still is in existence. We still have our local paper, and they have a whole page on different types of masks. And so I will get this posted.
Oh,
yeah. So I will get this posted on our website. But they have masks that don't fog up as much, masks that donate to, like your MS McClellan. They donate
to Harvest Food Bank.
So they even have one that's that are superhero masks that are designed to be put over an N95 mask. So it's not to be just worn as it's by itself, but over an N95 mask. So it's something, if you want to give something to your healthcare provider to thank them for being on the front line, you could give them a superhero mask to put over their N95 mask. Yeah, that's from what company is that? It's called the Mask Club. It's maskclub.com. That's a good gift for your healthcare provider.
Is.
If they have an N95 mask. So anyway, and then the other things you can do that I've heard about, and they actually have studies on this, is whatever mask you have already, a cloth mask, if you take about an 8-inch section of pantyhose and cut it so you have a tube of pantyhose, and then you slip it over your mask. So you have pantyhose on the outside and on the outside of the inside.
Right.
That makes sense. That will reduce the virus's ability to get in by 50%.
Oh, wow.
So just getting a piece of pantyhose, for those who are out there who are still wearing pantyhose.
I know, Lord, do I have a pair of pantyhose?
Anyway, just cut a section and slip it over your mask. And so especially if you're going in Lowe's, or you're going someplace where you're more likely to be around a lot more people, you might want to just slip a piece of pantyhose over your mask before you put it on.
Have they said anything about how to keep your glasses from not fogging up?
Well, there are the key to
Because that's
that.
miserable.
Yeah, I know, and people feel like they're suffocating under masks. It's an interesting process, but masks that fit more tightly over your nose and along your chin. I mean, not your chin, your cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
Will keep that warm air from coming up and prevent the fogging. So the more snug it is along the top edge of the mask, the less fog you'll have. The other thing you can do is, as a swimmer, I already had this in my house. There are little drops of defogger solution for goggles, swimming goggles.
Oh.
And they also come in a wipe. You can get it in a wipe form versus just a little bottle. But mine is in a bottle. You just put it on both sides of your glass. And then you buff it dry, and it keeps the glasses from fogging up.
Oh, well, I need to get some of that because I'm in somewhere and I breathe and and then that fogs up, and then I think I'm itching and I shouldn't touch my eyes, and
Yeah, I mean, that's the only problem with masks is that because people are not used to wearing them, and they're, if they're not real well fitting, people are messing with them all the time. They're touching them. And the fact is the contaminated area is the outside of the mask. So you don't want to be touching the mask all the time because you're touching contaminated area. Now, if you touch it and then you wash your hands, that's fine. But you don't want to touch the outside of your mask. That's considered, contaminated or dirty area. So
these cloth masks, what do they tell you? How many times to wash? How often do you need to wash them? Every time you wear them out?
I would wash it every time you wear it out. Mm-hmm. The other thing, if you want to, spray it with hydrogen peroxide solution or Lysol spray and let it dry, before you put it back on. If you don't want to hand wash it, or if you're not doing laundry yet, you can disinfect it. Especially like a hydrogen peroxide spray is safe, and it has no odor.
Yeah, I can't.
Thing is, whatever you spray it with, if Lysol, if it has a scent, then your mask's gonna smell like that.
Yeah, I have not been able to find hydrogen peroxide anywhere.
And
I did find 2 cans of Lysol at a Walgreens, and I took it to my dad.
And you didn't have to you didn't have to wrestle somebody to the ground for them.
No, it was just up there on the shelf, and they said you can have 2, and I was like, what? I felt like somebody gave me a Mercedes. And then I took it to my little daddy. He was so tickled because he, was taking care of all of her, like her bedpan, all of that. So he needed Lysol way before this ever happened. He has to spray down everything, and so
isn't that something that Lifeline people can get for him? Some sanitizer stuff.
I don't know. This has been since the COVID. So they probably were out too. I don't know, but I can ask because they provide other things. She has a belt where her feeding tube is, and they provide the little gauze to come to wear in that. And we wash the belts.
Yeah. Because, our office, obviously we order things through a medical supply place, and sometimes things are more readily available because it's not open to the general public for purchasing.
Oh, well, I'll ask next time I'm there.
And the other thing you can do to improve your mask safety is if you have a mask, how there are 2 layers of cloth usually when somebody makes a mask. Hopefully, whoever made the mask has left a little opening or slit you can slide in a filter of some sort. If they have, the stuff, I meant to get the name of this. I'm terrible with names of products. I'm terrible with this, but the stuff that this cloth that you put down under your mulch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It's that black sort of, and they also make a lot of the reusable grocery bags out of that stuff. As a matter of fact, you probably could cut up one of your reusable grocery bags. But that fabric captures a lot of particulate too. So you could cut a piece of that to slip into your mask to improve its safety.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So before you lay it down under your mulch, save you a piece or two to put in your mask.
Oh my gosh. So in your mind, we'll be wearing masks.
Yeah.
For how long?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about mandatory mask wearing, but I think, again, until we have a vaccine and treatment or preventative medications for the virus. So we're probably looking for the next 6 to 12 months of wearing masks. So you might as well get one that fits your style.
Well, let me ask you this. Somebody said the other day, and I know everybody's saying everything and you hear something different every day, but they go, we've never come up with a vaccine for the 1918 Spanish flu. So,
well, we do have flu vaccines, and we do develop vaccines for different strains depending on what is predicted to be the next strain. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that I get every year.
Yeah.
But somebody was just saying, they really never came up with one for the Spanish flu that happened is there a shot that we would never have a vaccine for this?
A shot that what? What did you say?
I mean, is there a possibility that they can't come up with a vaccine for this and it would end up being herd immunity or?
Yeah.
Or, I mean,
I think I feel pretty confident they'll come up with a vaccine.
Praise God. Somebody just said that, they go, of course everybody's in a panic, but
remember too that the Spanish flu was in 1918, so it wasn't like we were producing vaccines readily back in 1918. So
yeah, well, the next time somebody says that to me, I'll go, well,
it's 100 years later, 102 years later. So we have a little more, we have a few more resources than we did then.
Yeah, I heard Bill Gates say the other day that he thinks it'll be on the short side, hopefully, instead of, what it normally takes to develop one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it is going to be, because honestly, I think the fastest, the most quickly they've been able to develop a vaccine was the measles vaccine. And they did that in 4 years. That's the fastest we've been able to come up to develop a vaccine. And a lot of that is because of regulatory restrictions. So because of the situation, the FDA is going to allow things to move more quickly in terms of the clinical steps that you have to take to get approval for a vaccination. So, they've already moved into human testing for at least 2 of the vaccines I know. So typically that wouldn't be happening this quickly. They would do animal testing for a lot longer before they started human testing, but they've ramped it up and shortened the time frame for each piece. So yeah, it'll definitely be shorter than it normally is, but it's still going to be, I think a year would be a really short time for vaccination development.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure it's not going to injure people,
Right.
Because we're going to be giving it to little kids and old people. And,
right. I feel dry. Are you still, do you still feel in your mind that millions of people have had it?
I'm sure that there are a lot of people who have had it that we have no idea. But just so you know, at our office, we now have the antibody testing. As of yesterday, I ordered some on some patients yesterday.
Oh, and so they're doing that for people who need to go back to work, or who's getting those?
Well, in the cases that I had, I did three tests yesterday, and all 3 had pretty severe lower respiratory infections, between December and February. And so I checked them to see if they had already, if that was indeed COVID that they experienced. But, and I tell people that, if it is positive for antibodies, we cannot tell people you have immunity for sure, because we don't know the number of antibodies needed to say you have immunity to this virus.
Okay.
So all it tells us is you've had the virus or you haven't had the virus. Secondly, there is a small percentage of testing that could be a false positive. So it could say that you have antibodies and you don't. So you don't want to rest your laurels on that testing and say, I'm good, because you could have a false positive. It does not check to see if you have active current disease. So it's not a way to test for the disease. Okay. So those are all things that I reinforce that the limitations of the test right now. The more data we have about the antibodies and, and data on who might contract a second infection and what their antibody level was to begin with, gives us an idea of how many antibodies you need in terms of measuring it in the blood to indicate that you have immunity. Does that make sense?
Yeah. When do you think?
Oh, I have no idea.
We'll have that.
Oh, that we'll have that information. It probably be at least a year of data gathering. I mean, that's a lot of information to gather.
So now that everybody is, kind of slowed the curve in most places, now that we're reopening, so they know we'll have a little surge, hopefully just a little, but they'll be able to take care of it because our hospitals won't be overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Correct. That's the plan. So. Yeah.
Because, here in Knoxville, thank the Lord, I mean, the hospitals we're not overloaded, right?
No, we're not. No, they were having to cut hours for employees because they're going to start opening up to elective surgeries like joint replacements, that kind of thing. So the more surgeries that are happening too, the more hours people can have in terms of working at the hospital. So.
Yeah, I know this isn't important, but I wish I could have a facelift. I feel 100. And the first thing when they open up and say you can go and get an epidermal leveling or a dermaplane, whatever you want to call it. They call that the same thing. I'm getting an epidural leveling, and I'm going to do, not an epidural. That's when you have a baby.
It's like, wow.
Let me just call it dermaplaning.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a dermaplane, and I'm going to get a chemical peel, and I was going to get my veins done, but you have to wait 6 weeks before you go in the sun. And I'm not, I don't get in the sun a lot, but if we were to get to go to the beach or somewhere, I don't want to do it in the hot. I don't want to wear hot hose in the summer. I got enough problems. So, if I do get to go back on stage, I don't want to have on a hot pair of compression hose. So I'm going to wait again till next winter, but I was going to do it this year because my legs are starting to look bad. I do it every 5 or 6 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I wanted to do it, and the COVID hit. So next winter I'll do that. But there's a lot of things that I want to get out and do.
You have a whole list.
I do. I feel crusty. And even though my daughter can do, she doesn't have a scalpel. She can't do the real dermaplaning, but she can do a very surface, a pretty good one, but she can't do the real thing. Like you get at a med spa. She's not
She's not trained, licensed to do that?
No, to have a medical, yeah, she doesn't have that equipment.
Yeah.
She can
Yeah.
do it because she can figure out anything. But she does one, just a very superficial one on me. If
What
we're
does she
getting along.
use? What does she use?
You can order them from Amazon, or you can get them at Sally's Beauty Supply. They're little bitty dermaplane razors.
Oh.
Yeah. You can also just shave your face like a man. Really. You think about it, men
I know. Their
age
skin
so
always
much
looks
better.
good. I know.
Yeah, it's because
They're shaving.
Yeah. So I feel very fuzzy. I feel like I got a mustache. I feel this is a sight. It feels like, I feel like Tiger King, Carol Baskin, that I feel like my hair is just down past my butt. It needs to be thinned out a little. I need my eyebrows done. There's a number of things. And you know, when this first started, I thought I'm gonna do an arm workout every day in my arms. By the time I get on stage, people are gonna go, what? Because I can develop muscle really quickly in my upper body.
Oh, really?
I'm
That's
built
neat.
like my little daddy. Yeah, I got my daddy's arms. And so I get real cut up in my arms, not my butt. My butt's still fluffy and jiggly, but I thought I'm going to get my arms in good shape, and I'm going to start using the Latisse. I don't have Latisse, but I have another brand, but do my eyelashes. And I was doing it for a while, and I was starting to see them come out, and then I forgot because I'm disoriented because I don't know what day it is. So I forgot, but I'm going to start doing that again. So I'm going to come out when people see me on stage. I'm going to have eyelashes out to here, and my arms are going to look like who?
Michelle
Tina
Obama.
Turner. I'm trying to think of who. Angela Bassett.
Tina Turner has good arms. Yeah.
Yeah, and Angela Bassett has always had good arms. Yeah, but I don't want them to look like Madonna. God love her, love my Madonna, but I don't want them to look like that.
Ripped.
I don't even know what you call that, but no, I'm not going to go that far. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Those are my goals.
Well, I think those are all really fine goals. But by the way, you look fabulous, and hopefully we'll have some of this video on the internet for people to see, right?
Yes.
Of this session.
Yes.
And they can see how fabulous you look.
Oh, well, thank you, Karen. But your skin is beautiful, and it's like a little porcelain doll.
Yes.
And hopefully next time, she was asking me when I'm getting the spray tan, but I haven't been at home, but I got the pop tan. Chuck cleaned it out. We got the sprayer gun. I got my product. I got Revive, which is for anti-aging, and it doesn't stick to your age spots. I know my spray tan. So
okay, we're going to talk about that process and what you buy, because I know nothing about. I mean, I know what's involved, but I didn't even know you could get what did you say your spray is like organic or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and vegan and animal-free cruelty and and I'm telling you, it'll change your life. It'll change your life. I know. If you out at y'all's office, we ought to get the pop tent and bring it out there in
the parking lot.
Y'all's spray Mindy, Gary, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, that would. Oh, okay. We're videoing that if we do that, for sure.
I know. Save your Walmart bags, because we'll have to tie them over your hand so your hair won't cling to your hair.
Okay, we are definitely videoing that.
I know. I'm telling you, it'll change your life.
I'm in.
All right. I know you got big things to do, and I got stuff to do, but I've had a ball.
Yeah, it's been fun. And thanks, Forrest, for producing and for our theme song. And thank you to Stephen Brown, who actually I'm going to distance see later today. Stephen Brown for our artwork. And you can check him out on Instagram. Glitterville is his world. And he has a great Instagram feed. So check that out. Mm-hmm. And we will talk next time.
Okay.
All right. Stay safe and be well. Bye.
Bye-bye.